What's happening, everybody? Sean, joined again by my son, Trey. Today on Reactions to the Classics, we got another Elton John reaction. This time, his epic Tumbleweed Connection, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Trucker Kev. Thank you, Trucker Kev. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons that make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. Okay, Trey, we've done a couple albums. We've done Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I did that with your sister. We've done Honky Chateau a long time ago.
Both great records, man. I'm a big fan of Madman Across the Water as well, but haven't journeyed back to Tumbleweed Connection.
Never listened to this one either. So Trucker Kev has a few thoughts on this.
He said this is based upon Bernie Taupin's vision of the Americana Old West. Of course, I'm assuming most people know, but Elton John, Bernie Taupin, you know, the songwriting duo throughout Elton's career, right? One look at the album cover, it shows you it. Especially, it was an old gatefold. It had this old-time Western look to it, although it used the English train station in the original album photography. This is where old Reg really came into his own for me, coming off of two early releases that actually had a couple of hits. The neat thing about this album, though, that is where you really hear where Elton John falls into the real classic rock era, which he would pretty much stay in until he went full-on pop around 1982.
He says the interesting thing about this album is it spawned no hits on regular AM radio. Yeah, there were no singles released from this.
Interesting.
Through the years now, it does have much in classic rock. There are fantastic songs in here. It did bring one song to the light of day thanks to a fantastic movie called Elizabethtown. Out of nowhere, they dredged up My Father's Gun. And what's interesting about this is it got a whole new love for this album after the movie because you couldn't get it as a single or on a greatest hit, so people had to go out and buy the album. So the neat thing about this, it usually falls one or two on people's Elton John discography. He said this is a fantastic album. It, of course, does not feature the main guitarist of the Elton John band since the following album, Madman Across the Water, Davy Johnstone. When he came on board, it would be Caleb's last album, but it does have the great lead guitar work of Caleb Kwai, another fantastic guitarist in his own right. And of course, Gus Dodgen producing it as a fantastic piece of rock and roll. And Rod Stewart actually covered one of these songs too, Kev says. Now, under my research, Trey, I found a few things.
Yeah, this is his third record, recorded at the Great Trident Studios in London in March of 1970, released in October of that year in the UK, and wasn't released here stateside until January of 71, so had a few months buffer in between.
Yeah, you know, no one was clamoring for Elton if it's 4 months or 3 months beforehand.
It is a concept record based on country and Western Americana themes. Again, that a little interesting concept with being, you know, British, kind of drawn from that inspiration. All songs are written by Elton John and Bernie Taupin, with the exception of Love Song, which is written by Leslie Duncan. This went to 2 in the UK and 5 in the US, 4 in Canada and Australia. So pretty big hit here, coming as your third record.
It definitely was. And co-writer Bernie Taupin said of the album, quote, "Everybody thinks I was influenced by Americana and by seeing America firsthand, but we wrote and recorded the album before we'd ever been to the States.
Wow.
It was totally influenced by the band's music from the Big Pink and
Great
Robbie
album.
Robertson's songs. I've always loved Americana and I always loved American Westerns. I've said that El Paso was a song that made me want to write songs. It was a perfect meshing of melody and storyline, and I thought that there was something that married rhythms and the written word completely." Elton remarked, lyrically and melodically, that's probably one of our most perfect albums. I don't think there's any song on there that doesn't melodically fit the lyrics.
Basic tracks for 3 of the album's titles, Come Down in Time, Country Comfort, and Burn Down the Mission, were recorded at Trident during the sessions for the previous LP, Elton John, with overdubs completed for Tumbleweed Connection here. An early version of Madman Across the Water, featuring the great Mick Ronson on guitar, was also recorded during the sessions for the record. It was released on several albums and reissues of this record, Tumbleweed Connection, though the track was ultimately re-recorded for the Madman Across the Water record, which is definitely worth going to check out if you haven't already. Dee Murray and Nigel Olsson appear for the first time together on the record as the rhythm section on Amorina. Hopefully I didn't butcher that.
I think you did. It took me a while to work that one out, too.
Olsson had played on one track on Empty Sky for Elton back in '69. It is Murray's first appearance on any Elton record. In addition, several studio players who also performed on John's previous self-titled second album. Several tracks feature backing musicians from the band Hookfoot, who were also his DJM record label mates. Hookfoot guitarist Caleb Kwai, who we mentioned, and drummer Roger Pope had also appeared on John's Empty Sky album. As you mentioned, had no singles released.
No, but Country Comfort was released as a single in Australia, New Zealand, and Brazil. So if you're watching it from over there, you're like, dude, it was. The wraparound cover photo for the album was taken at Sheffield Park Railway Station in Sussex. It captured John seated to the right in the photo but appearing to the left on the front cover, and Toppin sitting to the left on the back cover in front of the late 19th century station to represent album's rural Americana concept despite the English location. They've recently returned that and restored that place to what it looked like on this album. So everything's written, of course, by Bernie and Elton, unless we mention otherwise. If you haven't joined us before, the music will not be in the video, but it will be in a Vimeo link below. Thanks again, Trucker Kev. Trey, let's kick this thing off.
All right, well, we're going to start it off with Ballad of a Well-Known Gun. I'm already intrigued by the name right there. When Elton and Bernie first met Bob Dylan on a staircase at the Fillmore East, shortly after this record's release, Dylan made a point to express that he really liked the lyrics to this song. Well, if it's getting the nod from the man himself, Mr. Zimmerman, I'm sure it'll get the nod from us as well. So
that ought to be quite the inspiration for those guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. So as always, we're gonna have the lyrics pulled up, take back, enjoy the song, and then give our thoughts afterward. All right, Dad, we kick this off with "Ballad of a Well-Known Gun," and right away from the first lyrics, it sets you into that, kind of like what the cover implies, right? I'm pulling out my stagecoach times, and I read the latest news. I tapped my feet in dumb surprise, and of course, I saw they knew our guy here, the well-known gun.
He's the well-known
His
gun.
time is up.
Yeah, and he's glad about it because, of course, now they found me. At last they found me. It's hard to run from a starving family. Now they found me. Well, I won't run. I'm tired of hearing there goes a well-known gun. Now, I don't know, man. You probably should have kept running. But I will say, before we get into verse 2, because it's really good, is that it was surprising that Caleb's guitar is the main thing on here.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
he did great, yeah.
When Mackenzie and I did Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, obviously there's 17 songs on that thing, and all of them are piano-driven. Mm-hmm. This one, the guitar really added a nice, just driving part to a song that needs that, right? Because it's about an outlaw who is about to go to his death, right?
No, exactly. I thought that the musicianship just top to bottom was good. You could already hear some of that band influence too with that piano and just the strong bass work, yes. and drums. Everything was firing on all cylinders right here. We mentioned it in the reaction, but that chorus that was gospel-esque. Just again, it had an added sense of power to it right there, almost like a sort of penance. Like this guy knows the gig is up.
Right.
Essentially,
it's over, man. It's over.
So yeah. And Caleb's guitar solo towards the end was really great as well, and I like that line, like you were talking in verse 2. Now I know how Reno felt when he ran from the law. Like everything's kind of crumbling down for our guy right here.
It is. He's asking to see a priest, all that good stuff. So great way to open this album. Now we move on to Come Down in Time.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of interesting backstory on this. This was originally recorded for Elton's second self-titled record. The song was covered by the great Al Cooper on his 1971 album New York City, You're a Woman. Then it was later covered by Sting on the 1991 album Two Rooms, celebrating the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin.
Yeah, Come Down in Time is one of the two exceptions, which it would be, right? Because it wasn't recorded for this album, to the primary Western musical themes of the album. Though originally using harp as the primary instrumental accompaniment in his live sets, Elton primarily replaced it with the piano, which you would have to. But Elton actually talked about this song all the way up in 2013 to Rolling Stone. He said, I love the melancholic and I love the sadness. I love writing sad songs. Now that I'm sad as a person, not that I'm sad as a person because I'm not, but they do get to me. Dylan, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young have written so many of them. Peter Gabriel, Don't Give Up. They're the ones that stay with me for life. And when you write one of those songs, oh, does it feel good? If it were down to me, I'd write that sort of stuff all the time. I love Come Down in Time. It was only our third album, and it's kind of something that a jazz singer would record. Chord-wise, it was like nothing I'd ever written before.
Interesting. All right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing this harp.
Let's do it. All right, Come Down in Time. Another interesting thing, this one, Trey, has no piano at all.
No, exactly. Yeah, just really driven by that harp. Even that bass kind of was prominent halfway through the track, which was an interesting blend, and why I noted, this is a very textured track with that harp really driving it.
Yeah, it had a little bit of oboe in there. Thought it was a good song. Melancholic, as he says. You can hear the emotion in Elton's voice. I don't know. We'll see how this album plays off. Kind of a weird sequencing for it, right? As we kick off with a little bit of the Americana.
Yeah, they kind of bring us up with
and then they go to
rocker.
I thought it was a good performance. I mean, not a lot to it as far as lyrically. Come Down in Time. I still hear her say, so clear in my ear like it was today. Come Down in Time was the message she gave. Come Down in Time, and I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah, I thought it was, again, a really good highlight of the storytelling and the emotions that Elton and Bernie can evoke, right? Not only with the music, but, with the lyrics there, too, because it is kind of a sad turn of events, because he notes at the second verse, he's like, I don't know if I should have heard her as yet, but a true love like hers is a hard love to get. But then he immediately switches that idea, like, you start thinking, okay, well, is she going to come meet him? Yeah. No, she's not, because he says, I've walked most of the way and I ain't heard her call. I'm getting to thinking if she's coming at all. So man, he's holding on to that phrase, right? Come down in time. Yet
she ain't coming.
No, it's not going to happen. And our guy here, he's got to move on. Sometimes that's what you got to do, and chalk it up as an L, and try again next time, right? So
maybe write a song about it. Maybe that'll be cathartic for you.
No, exactly. And so now I feel we're going to shift gears quite a bit, because we go to Country Comfort, which was originally recorded for Rod Stewart's 1970 album Gasoline Alley. It was released as a pre-album single in '69. The nostalgic imagery contributes to the Americana themes found throughout Tumbleweed Connection. All right, Country Comfort, living up to its name, Dad. A very authentic country rock sound right here, aided in part by that steel guitar that I thought was impressive. And shout out to Herbie Flowers again on that bass line that I thought was really impressive as well. On top of just the lyrics, again, just that imagery evoking a lot of country living right here.
Yeah, and you had a nice 12-string from Wes Thatcher on there as well. It really is important to point this out. Again, we talked about at the beginning, but Bernie and Elton had never been to America. Mm-hmm. And they really do paint that vivid picture of country life. You're in a small town. The 609 goes roaring past the creek, so the train's going. Deacon Lee's getting that sermon ready. Sees Grandma down at the store. She's 84. She needs help with the barn and running the farm. And that chorus is where it really got countrified. I thought the first verse was more the piano and Elton kind of sounding like the more familiar Elton I know, and then it took that turn, which is was really good.
No, definitely, and man, I could imagine with Rod Stewart's voice, him pulling this song up.
I know I'm gonna have to go listen to it later, but I think it works really well, with Elton's voice as well, and I think it just. You really believe that it's about being totally satisfied where you are instead of wanting to get out to the bigger place.
No, exactly, man. And yet again, kind of 3 songs in three different sounds.
So I was going to say, very diverse.
On this record. So we're about to go to the next song, Son of Your Father. And then the song after that is My Father's Gun. I doubt they connect, but who knows, man? Who knows? So curious to check this one out. All right, Son of Your Father. This time, Dad, harmonica, a big highlight in the song, which I thought worked quite well for it. And again, a quite triumphant chorus, I thought, with the horn section coming in here, and Elton laying down the law, with blood and water, bricks and mortar, he built for you a home. You're the son of your father, so treat me as your own. In the background of this, though, Dad, we had a story between Van Buchel and Joseph, and it didn't really end well for either of them, unfortunately.
No, because Joseph was blind, so he had a gun on Van, and Van's telling him, it's all right, man. So that's when he's telling him, well, you're the son of your father. Like, Van's telling him, have some respect, son, basically. Mm-hmm. And then so once he empties out all the shells of the gun, well, then Van gets real cocky and it's like, kind of tells him some stuff. And now, blind man, get out of my way. You can't waste my time. Move aside. I've got a train to ride. And then Joseph turned around. His grin was now a frown. He said, let me just refresh your mind. Your manners, boy, seem hard to find. I'm going to go through that pre-chorus and chorus again. And I will say, something we haven't mentioned, but it definitely lends to mentioning here, is the female backing vocals on all these songs are fantastic. They're mixed to the back more so. They don't really share with Elton. I think that lends nicely to it because Elton's voice is so good.
Yeah, definitely a similarity with our opener, right? Ballot of a Well-Known Gun. I thought the same thing, Dad. I thought that was really well done. And I mean, the Stones in this time period did that expertly as well.
They did as well. You're for sure on that.
I need to bring that back, man. I need to bring that back because I really enjoy that. And yeah, at the end, there's 2 men lying dead as nails on an East Virginia farm, man. Then we're warned, be careful when they're kind to you. Don't you end up in the dirt. Just remember what I'm saying to you, and you likely won't get hurt. Gotta heed the advice of this track.
Be respectful, boys and girls. Be respectful, because if you're not, you may see the other end of My Father's Gun.
Yeah,
right? What a segue.
And this one, longest song, or I guess tied for the longest song on the record as we close out the first side here. All right, My Father's Gun, epic track where we really let the piano loose in that chorus, along with, again, as we were talking earlier, Dad, the very anthemic, almost triumphant chorus where we had Leslie Duncan and Dusty Springfield on backing, among many others.
Yeah, I was going to say all-star crew there. Yeah, I mean, the story of it's real simple, right? It starts out, they let us know his father's dead, so that's where we get my father. He's going to have his father's gun. Talking about the Grays, so his dad's a Confederate soldier. So now Elton's going to go on down to New Orleans and avenge his dad's death. I mean, that's the story of this song. But the chorus repeats several times and just builds until you're just singing along with it. So a really well done song.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. One of my favorites, honestly, maybe my second favorite track up to this point, because I really enjoyed where, sometimes if the chorus repeats a lot, you're like, all right, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
But with this one, I didn't mind. The whole song could have just been that chorus and playing off, building that instrumentation up, and I just thought it was quite catchy, even given the kind of morbid subject matter.
Yeah,
right?
of course, and also great guitar work on this as well, and bass work. So it's kind of a broken record, but a good way and an epic way to finish out the A side. Now we're going to start off with the B side with "Where to Now, St. Peter."
All right, "Where to Now, St. Peter." Just an interesting note on this record, Dad. It seems every song, the vocals kind of go up to the very last second. Not a lot of fade outs on this.
That's a good point, because we were really in the fade out world back then. So yeah, really interesting. You mentioned the psychedelic guitar. Like, it hits us right on the first line. I took myself a blue canoe, and then it hits you like, wait, what was that?
Yeah, Caleb letting loose on those effects.
Yeah, I thought it was a kind of an odd song as far as like the content matter, but I think he's just kind of searching for where he's going, because he's talking to Peter, right? Where to now, St. Peter? If it's true, I'm in your hands. I may not be a Christian, but I've done all one man can. I understand I'm on the road where all that was is gone. So where to now, St. Peter? Show me which road I'm on. Which road I'm on? So is he searching for his purpose, Trey, you think?
Either that, or I think he might be dying, right? Because in that
my arms, they're paralyzed.
Yeah, restless were my eyes, insane they took the paddles. I don't know who the they is in this. Who took the paddles, so to speak. He's in this blue canoe. But yeah, he notes he was paralyzed. This lazy life is short, something for nothing, always ending with a bad report.
Maybe I see that now. Yeah,
but who knows? I could be off on that. But
I can see
just thinking St. Peter, at Heaven's Gates, is he thinking, okay, I'm about to be there?
I'm not Christian, but I guess I'm about to go. So let's go ahead and have this discussion just in case.
And he ends it again with that first line, kind of bookended with "I took myself a blue canoe," and then so the song does end in a hint of mystery and intrigue, I think. So again, though, bringing something a little different to the table, and not just hammering home the same style of a song. So now we're going to go to Love Song right here. This is the one that is a cover of the song of the same title by Leslie Duncan. And Leslie's on acoustic guitar and backing vocals here. All right, Love Song coming in here. A bit of a more somber arrangement, I think, Dad, than what you might expect Love Song to have right there. Really just driven by that acoustic guitar. And, it was interesting, though, to contrast that to the very happy family and the peaceful waves we heard in the background towards the end.
Because I think he's telling her, like, if you want to have this, then we're going to have to. Because he said, you say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew, but there's no other way, and now it's really up to you. So they've got to go, right?
The ball's in her court.
Yeah, they've got to move on, and then they do the chorus again. But then they get the happy family. Like, this is like, if you'll just follow me and do what I want you to do, then this could be our future. I think that's kind of what it was. Of symbolized.
Yeah, definitely. That love, it's not always, the lovey-dovey, everything's great stuff, right? It's about that commitment, that giving up of yourself. Yeah, and I think that it really gets to the heart of that. I got to listen to the Leslie Duncan version as well to compare the two. But again, I like the way that the lyrics told this story, right, of having to give up that sacrifice, and again, the more kind of somber nature of the music in the back.
And it shows you Elton was very giving as an artist at this point, because you mentioned the acoustic is the driving thing. Well, Leslie's playing it.
Yeah.
She's singing with him. She wrote it, so he's handing the keys over to her, not feeling like he's got to kind of insert himself.
Yeah, that's a good point, for sure.
Now we go to the 8th song, Amarina.
Yeah.
Where it's named after Elton's goddaughter, so that's where we get that strange. Although Tumbleweed Connection did not produce any hit singles, this enjoyed a level of post-release popularity via its appearance in the opening credits of the film Dog Day Afternoon. It's the only song featured in the entire movie. Shout out to the patron who brought this, Trucker Kev, who gave me that tidbit, but I think that was very interesting. One of my favorite movies of all time, a 5-star affair.
Oh, definitely. The great Al Pacino, man. If you haven't seen Dog Day Afternoon,
you gotta go see it.
All right, and Marina bringing it in here, again, with Elton on the piano. An organ, that's driving our music right here, and yet again, a very catchy anthemic-like chorus, which has been status quo for much of this record, which not necessarily surprising me, but just, again, showing even early in Elton's career, Dad, how he had a knack for kind of bringing that to life in the chorus.
Yeah, this sounds like more of a traditional Elton song to me, with the piano driven. And also he has a unique way of the voice inflection to make those choruses a little bit of pause and go, and just makes you kind of really draw into the chorus. And, the story is as old as Father Time, right? Boy loves girl, girl and boy are separated, and now they're both sort of remembering the good old days, and he's longing for her and imagining that she's longing for him, which is what you got to do, boys and girls.
No, I don't have too much more to add on it. It's just a really, really strong effort right here, and it would have worked well as a single had they they released any, right? But now we're gonna move to Talking Old Soldiers.
All right, Talking Old Soldiers, totally piano driven, totally Elton, just telling the story. Trey, a lot more speaking in it than I've ever heard him. Little speak song, just telling the story that he's buying a beer for an old soldier, and we find out that all the old soldier's friends are dead. He's never going to find friends like that again.
No, exactly. I thought this was one of the great songs on this record, right? Seems a little underrated, just looking at, doesn't even have 1 million streams, the least streamed song here on Spotify. And I mean, I can see why, but I thought this was one of Elton's best vocal performances, especially towards the end. And again, I really enjoy those stories of, the elder statesman kind of looking back on life. He knows he can't drink as much as he used to, but, he's just in that reminiscing state, right?
Yeah,
Remembering
exactly.
all the things that he's done, the people that he's come across, and he even is a bit self-aware, saying, I know what you're saying, son. There goes old man Joe again. Well, I may be mad at that. I've seen enough to make a man go out of his brains, right? This dude's seen a lot, done a lot, and hey, he's still here, though, and he notes, don't seem likely I'll get friends like that again, so he still has those memories.
Yeah, exactly. And at the very end, Elton just tells him, I got to be going, man, but just kind of ignore those other people. Just ignore them. You got your memories, and I'll probably see you again. So yeah, I thought excellent storytelling. And as you said, a fantastic vocal performance. Trey, we're at the last track of this album and the most streamed song on here.
Yeah.
Burn Down the Mission.
All right, Burn Down the Mission, a great track, in my opinion, to end off this record here. You had some really impressive instrumental runs at the end, and midway through the song, as you noted, Dad, just kind of building that tension up.
Yes.
Really quick tempoed piano in there, horn section that was great. Just a lot of grooves that made you want to get up and go. And again, I think Elton was really strong on his vocals, and yeah, there was just a fire, no pun intended, in this song, I think.
Yeah, and I think they ended out both sides with epic songs, right?
Yeah.
My Father's Gone, and then Burn Down the Mission, which is the way you had to do it in the old days. They were going to remember what you leave them with. So the story's real simple. They're down on their luck. They don't have anything. They go burn down the mission, the rich guy's house, take what you need to live. Then they come and get Elton. That's where that's kind of building up. But what else was he to do? He had to provide for his family. So they come and get him, man. But yeah, I thought, the piano work, best piano work on the album. And I think that was intentional. Let's really show them what we could do. We were kind of restraining ourselves. Let's show us what we can do. So yeah, great way to end it.
No, I quite enjoyed it, man, which is a natural segue into our favorite tracks. You want to start, Dad, or you want me to?
I'll let you do.
All right, well, I as I always do, going just in order of when they appeared on the record, right? Because there's a lot to like on Tumbleweed Connection. Ballot of a Well-Known Gun, I thought started off the record on a really strong note. Again, with that anthemic chorus with the female backing vocals, really enjoyed that. I'm also going to give some love to Country Comfort, which on the surface would not have thought would have been one of my favorites, but it was really good. And then My Father's Gun and Burn Down the Mission are also going to be ones I'm going to tip my cap to with Talking Old Soldiers. I can't skip that one either. So hey, I'm naming half the record here. But what do you got, Dad?
I think I'm exactly where you you are on all of those. That's funny, man. I am. Ballad of a Well-Known Gun, Burn Down the Mission are just tremendous. And yeah, my father's. Yeah, I'm where you are, man. And I thought I was going to have one you didn't because you didn't mention Talking Old Soldiers, but then you threw it in there at the end. So that's going to bring us to our overall score. So if you watch the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and if you haven't already, I don't want to ruin it for you. I thought it was a really good album. I thought it was a little bloated. This one is not. I think this one, while it doesn't have the highs, obviously, of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, I think it's a much more consistent album. I really enjoy this. I'm going to be at an 8.0.
Man, you stole what I was going to say, because I was also going to note how, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road might have the higher highs, right? The biggest of the big songs from Elton. But, it is a little bit bloated, right? It isn't as consistent, I think, as this. And I am a big fan of these, 70s albums that are, like 8 to 10 songs, and that's what we have here, man. So I am going to be at like a 8.5 for me on this record, man. I like it more than Hockey Chateau and Madman Across the Water as well. So this is now my favorite Elton John record right here, and I think just the different styles musically, and Elton's vocals are on point. All the different instrumentation, they got world-class people in there.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on, man. In a good way. And Trucker Kev, the patron brought us, said his faves were Ballad of a Well-Known Gun, Country Comforts, My Father's Gun. He's right here with us, man. The trippiness of Where to Now, St. Peter, the beautiful love song, and the rollicking Burn Down the Mission. We are very close on that. I didn't want to look at his before I said mine. And then his rating is a 9.5 still, because he's got the advantage of listening to this thing on repeat forever and ever. But what a great pick from Trucker Kev. Always appreciate him. Let us know what you think of this album. What are your favorite tracks? Where do you rank it in Elton's discography?
Yeah, we of course want to know from you there, and we appreciate a like. Give the thumbs up, hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't already, and you can go check out. We also have Elton featured in numerous song battles, song reactions, etc.
He's all over the place.
So really glad we were able to do this one today. So thanks again to Trucker Kev, and until next time, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and we will see you.